just have fun. Do you think this could work at the pro level? I mean, do you think there's any way that we could teach these type of tactics at the pro level?
No, I don't. I just think that we have to understand that competition at an adult level is different than at a kid level. And I think this idea that we have to say it's the same, I don't like to see it when I see at the professional ranks where players will talk about trying to fake their concussion situation. In other words, when they get their baseline testing, they try to purposely fake it so that if they have a concussion, they could pass the concussion tests more easily. When I see players that are being put up as models that they will play injured, kids are seeing this and they think that's the model that they ought to have. And the problem with that is that injuries at a kid level are more serious generally in terms of re-injury than it would be for adults, especially when it comes to the brain. You know this. I mean, I'm sure you've talked to enough people to know that concussions with a child or a young person, those subconcussive hits that follow up are much more dangerous. The brain is in a developmental mode, and these concussive episodes are extremely dangerous. And you don't want to have kids be dishonest so that they can stay on the field and be brave like their professional counterparts.
Exactly. Chuck,
But, hey, listen, we're doing this, Cameron, to ourselves. And,
okay.
Most of the parents agree with where we're coming from. We're using sports as a vehicle in even field. What we're really trying to do is to help kids to grow up with good character. And we're using sports as a vehicle to get to both kids and the adults in their lives.
Exactly, Chuck, and I totally agree with your points. You can check out evenfield.org to be a part of this program. And Chuck, before you head on out, I know Stuart Scott and you used to work at ESPN. Do you have any Stuart Scott stories, or how much time did you spend with Stuart Scott?
Well, I was on ESPN radio when it first began back in 1994, and in those early years, Stuart Scott came on the radio side frequently, and Stuart and I certainly did sports much differently, and our viewpoint was different, and I think that made for really good radio. And Chris Moore was reminding me, my old partner on radio a few years later, reminded us the other day of just when Stuart Scott would come on with us. He was just a very good storyteller, but we'd always get him to talk about his cereal, because he liked to have cereal in the morning, but he never had just one cereal. He would have a mix of two cereals, right? And he would come on the air each time and tell Chris and me he would tell Chris and I what he had that day, what two cereals did he mix that day, whether or not he liked them. It was just one of those funny things that he did that kind of resonated really well with us. But I'll tell you this on Stuart. He faced cancer right in the face, and he took it on and showed an incredible level of courage in facing really daunting odds. And while cancer may have gotten the best of him, he showed the best of the American spirit and what we can be at our best. And I'm blown away when I see Robin Roberts, or I see, in the case, Stuart Scott and many others that have taken on cancer and been so incredibly courageous about it. You say to yourself, what would I do in that situation? I just can't imagine being able to be as courageous and brave in the face of that kind of adversity the way he was, Kim Valvano, Robin Roberts, I mentioned, so many others that have taken on this dreaded disease. He's going to be missed. He had a profound impact at ESPN.
Thanks, Chuck. We really appreciated you coming on to this show. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you for just the early starting and getting into broadcasting, and talking to interesting people, and trying to have a dialogue going forward. Because interacting with others and keeping an open mind to ideas that others have. With Evenfield, I don't come into this pretending that we have all the answers. We're looking to collaborate with people. We're looking to partner with others. We're looking for anybody who has ideas. We simply want to be part of a solution, part of swinging the pendulum back away from this win-at-all-costs, do whatever it takes to win message that's out there, with the message that the way you win matters, the way you compete, the way you interact with others, the way you reach goals. All of it really matters because it shows others whether you're a person of character who they can trust. And building trust is an incredibly important thing in life. I'd leave you with this. Think in your own life. How many people among your peers, how many of your peers do you truly trust? I mean, really trust. Most people will come up with very few names. And I would say to anybody listening, hey, be that person who other people trust. Because trust going forward in a very transparent world in which everybody is free to talk about what kind of person you are on the internet and so on, being somebody that's trustworthy is really a valuable commodity going forward. And, it's good. You get to go to bed at night, look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I'm trying to help others. I'm trying to be a good person. Makes you feel good.
On that note, we thank you again, Chuck, for coming on to Beyond the Box Score.
Cameron, my pleasure. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Chuck. We'll see you next time. All right, that was Chuck Wilson, former ESPN radio host and now doing something very special, evenfield.org. We got 7 minutes. I got some topics that we could go. I have one more topic really quickly. But before we get there, I really enjoyed with what Chuck had to say about Evenfield, and I agree. I know personally, and I don't usually like to, try to out-talk the guest or whatever. I didn't want to just, waste his time with kind of my stories, but I'll tell you, that I was a victim of burnout. I was a victim of burnout. I was burned out from the game of basketball. And I just could not take it anymore. I could not take it anymore. I did, I was, early specialization, I loved basketball so much, but, I wish I would have maybe explored other sports more. And I was burned out from the game. Now I just play for fun, and I found, radio to be more of a passion for me, and broadcasting to be more of a passion for me, but I was definitely burned out. And a lot of what Chuck had to say about coaches, people around me, and look, I don't want to blame others. I don't want to blame other people and come across as someone who really didn't care or anything like that, but I could not handle the adversity that, kind of took place in that youth high school sports realm. I burned out. I was burned out. And now I feel very free on the radio. I feel very good on the radio. This is something I love. This is something I truly love. I love basketball, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do talk about in the paint. I play for fun and everything, but at that level, it ended early for me. It ended early for me because of burnout. And unfortunately, it's very common right now in youth sports, and Chuck is trying to fix the problem. And to step out of radio, and I know he liked radio a lot. He was, one of the most prepared radio hosts you could find. And, for him to step out and make a huge impact in the, youth sports world, he should definitely get a lot of credit for that. Absolutely. He should get a lot of credit for that. And I hope, we get to see him in other shows. Get to talk to him in other shows, because he provided us with a lot of information that we quite frankly did not know. Okay, quick topic. Right before we head out, I know, I'll be honest with you, I've been a critic of Skip Bayless. I have been a huge critic of Skip Bayless, and this is according to awfulannouncing.com, Matt Yoder. Matt said that he wrote this article about how ESPN saying that they approved Bayless of calling Johnny Manziel an alcoholic. Just going to go over this really quick. Bayless called Manziel an alcoholic, and then a lot of controversy surrounding that. Look, I don't view Skip Bayless, and I've been very critical of him, but I think it's also time that when we judge Skip Bayless, I don't think we should judge him as a sports journalist. I think he's an entertainer. I don't think, and I used to judge him as a journalist. He used to be, but I don't think now. I think he's more of an entertainer. He's more of an O'Reilly, a Limbaugh. That's how I view Bayless. And look, he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to entertain people, that's okay. But I think those days of, us in the media, fans, or us, anybody, judging him as a journalist, I think those days are over with. And we should just judge him as an entertainer. I just don't view him as a journalist. That's all I want to say, because we've got to head out very quickly. And also, I talked about the breaking news of the day, which was John Bones Jones, and how he is going to rehab after testing positive for cocaine. And just to recap my thoughts, I just think the UFC has been very hypocritical in their drug stance. You cannot suspend Nick Diaz for marijuana and then say, no, it's not okay. It's okay, John Bones Jones. What is that? I do not understand that at all. And unfortunately, the UFC has this problem. And this is kind of the main point that I wanted to talk about with you today, in that the leagues protect the stars. The leagues will do anything in order to protect the stars, because the stars, quite frankly, draw average fans. Trust me, I know this. Even though I'm a sports nut, I do realize that many people do not care about Jonas Valanciunas. I may, because I'm an NBA fan, but more people care about Kobe Bryant than Jonas Valanciunas. And that's the reality. The leagues know it. You could tell with the ratings. When Kobe Bryant is in the finals, when LeBron James is in the finals, big ratings. When John Bones Jones is in the octagon, big ratings. That is what these leagues are thinking about. Protect the stars. That's it. Thank you. It's been great to talk to you, all of you. We appreciate Chuck for coming on. We appreciate Phil Nunziata's comment about our show, about our conversation here. And again, we hope you come back here